Greetings, everyone. My name is Dr. Jason Freeman, and I'd like to welcome you all to my channel. Now, in advance of the premiere of Luther, The Fallen Son, which will take place in theaters on February 24th and on Netflix on March 10th, I'm going to review all 5 seasons of the show. I'm going to tell you what I like about each season. I'm going to tell you what I didn't really like about each season. Then I'm going to tell you why I think you should see the season or just skip it. Now, at any point, feel free to click the notification bell or subscribe to my channel to get more content. So, without further ado, let's begin. So season 4 of Luther starts with Luther in a very kind of like sullen, kind of, I would say dark mood, depressed state, very much kind of dealing with the after effects of season 3. He's given some very jarring news. Is really the catalyst for the rest of his actions and behavior for the rest of the series or season, which is only 2 episodes. So what did I like about the film? Well, first is the fact that after a bit in the beginning, Luther is right back to the things, doing the things that I really like him doing, which is really investigating and trying to get to a head of a horrific killer. And so I think about, say, like Silence of the Lambs or those type of movies where you have someone trying to kind of understand what is behind this person's horrific actions. And so again, very early in the season, again, it's only 2 episodes, Luther is pulled back into his life where he's focusing in on trying to catch a killer. Now, in the previous season, one of my big critiques was there's a lot of side things going on outside of his investigating, which I think is the strength of the series. And so this one, there is some of that, but is much more so it focuses in on him trying to catch a killer. Another thing I liked about this season, which is again something that was an improvement on the previous season, was the killer. Not that I liked the killer. I liked the fact that the killer was menacing, intelligent, scary, and sadistic. Really kind of, again, that evil slasher character, but embodied in a quote unquote normal human being with a normal, background, which again, I'm not giving too much. That's been all the killers, basically. These people who, because of something horrible happening to them, they become these monsters. Almost like Batman villains. And so the idea is, this killer is scary. They're difficult to catch. You want to catch them because they're doing some pretty messed up stuff. And even on some level, just like with some of the other killers, there's something a little bit sympathetic, and not that you empathize or sympathize with them, but there's some pain or something going on in them that causes them to do these horrible things. And so the killer this time was definitely a callback to some of the previous killers, which were much better than the killers in season 3. There was one killer in season 3 that was okay, but even that killer was just, This one was on the same level as some of the previous ones. Again, someone that Luther really had to try to figure out, to try to get them to stop doing these horrible things. And the things this killer was doing was on the level, if not worse, than some of the stuff that was done in the first 2 seasons. And lastly, I like the fact that they're still willing to take risks with this show. Now, what happens with the last season and this season is they did something that I didn't like initially. I'm like, why are they doing this? And then you kind of see it play out over the series. It's like, oh, I get it. Like, this really sets up this really interesting situation. And so they took some risk in this season as well. And at first I was kind of like, not really happy with what they were doing. And then by the end of it, I'm like, I'm good with it. So again, they're willing to take risks. They're willing to, again, put these characters in situations where you may have liked them at various points, but then they do something that maybe isn't so great. And so yeah, it's really interesting to kind of see what these writers are willing to do with this character, which makes it really exciting for season 5 and also for the movie. Again, which will premiere on February 24th in theaters and on Netflix on March 10th. So what didn't I like? Well, one thing I didn't like was they had another mobster subplot. I think The Sopranos or whatever, probably Sopranos influenced this show. It's like, well, you put mobsters in there, like British mobsters, it'll make it more interesting. Then, get people a little bit more on the edge or have you, like, intimidated by these characters. And it just, to me, it seems useless and superfluous. Like, don't put it in there. Like, and I'm sure in season 5 they probably got another mobster subplot, but I just don't care for it. And there's a whole thing with this crime boss, and he runs afoul. Luther runs afoul of them, and then he got to deal with the mobster, and then also has to deal with the killer, and then has to deal with his personal demons. Like, it just so too much. Get rid of the mobster stuff. Like, I don't care about the mobsters in this world. I just don't. They kind of jump in there and get in the way of him trying to catch a serial killer, which is what I'm interested in. That's why I came to this series, not for the mob stuff. But yeah, so that was one of my big critiques of the season. They had another useless mob subplot, and so I'm sure they'll have it in season 5 or something like that, or season, maybe in the movie. I hope not. Focus on the killers. The killers, these sick SOBs are what I'm watching this movie, watching this show, which really is very much like a movie. So yeah, don't no more mobsters, please. No more mobsters. I don't care, unless you make one like a sadistic serial killer, then it might be interesting, but not the way that they've been kind of stuffed into the show. And lastly, and this could be a little spoilerish if you've seen the other seasons. And obviously I know some of y'all have seen the whole thing, so so it's not really an issue for y'all, but it's more so for people who are watching this along with me, or watching my videos ahead of watching the actual the series. And so they kill off a main character that kind of annoyed me a little bit, because I was really hoping to see Luther and this character together. This probably gives away who it is. In this season, that was one of my hopes. I was disappointed in season 3, but at least there was a potential of seeing these two people together on some level. And that's really, I wanted to see them kind of see what their life would be like together as a couple. And they killed them, apparently. And so it's like, that was disappointing. Now, it does set up for the season, and it gets us to, again, him in the situation where he's investigating another serial killer. So that was good, but I didn't think they had to kill off this character without at some point showing us see them together as a couple. And that was just a really frustrating thing. Like, I was hoping there would be a couple for a while, just based on their chemistry. And then when it's finally alluded to in season 3, it's like, nope, not at all. So I'm like, that was a disappointment. So that's one thing I didn't like. I wish they had found some way to keep that character alive, so that Luther and that character we could see a romance, their relationship, see if it does go south in this particular season 4. So you see season 4 of Luther, or just skip it. And so I'm kind of on the fence with this, because it was definitely a better season than season 3. So in that way, I'm glad I watched it. It was interesting, but it definitely still is not at the level of seasons 1 and 2. See, season 1 and 2 are, to me, the best seasons of this show. And I'll put them together. I would say 1 over 2, just because it was a new thing and I was really excited to see this world. But I love 2. 2 was great. And 3 was disappointing. And this one was kind of on the fence. The killer was great. I was glad to see Luther investigating a murder and focusing on a serial killer after season 3, which was the weakest season. But definitely, this was not the best. And so, see it, but it's definitely not the same level as 1 and 2. So, if you were going to skip some seasons, definitely watch 1 and 2, and then skipping 3 and 4, I don't think will hurt that much. Again, for me, it's all about Luther solving the crimes. He's Sherlock Holmes. He's Detective Gordon. He's this genius guy who's going to solve the cases. That's what he is. And so when he does that, I love it. And when you have all this side stuff, especially in season 3, it just becomes distracting and annoying. So definitely, I would say see it, but not a high see it. It's just, it's not like a must see. Seasons 1 and 2, I would say, are must sees. So I don't know if I said that previously, but I'll definitely say that now. Seasons 1 and 2, I think, are must-sees. Season 3 is a skip it, and season 4 is, see it, but it's not the best season. It's fun, it's good, but definitely not as good as the previous seasons. Now, if you found that review interesting and or informative, please like this video and subscribe to my channel. Also, please share this video. And if you have questions about season 4 of the show Luther, please leave those questions in the discussion section below. Thank you all for your time and have a wonderful rest of your day.